This is the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Matt. In this podcast, we're going to discuss growing companies, automation and manufacturing,
and how we're building the lives and businesses we want to see in the world.
We're back on the map. If you've been enjoying from Matt and Michael, don't forget to give us your review. Hopefully it's a 5-star. But as always, we're going to go through kind of general feelings of the week, a little bit about our sales and marketing, what's been happening in our engineering departments, what we're trying to do and improve our lean initiatives, if you will, and kind of a weekly task or personal segment at the end. So I'll let Michael get us started on general feelings of the week.
I want you to start, actually, if you're okay with it.
All right.
I got a lot of chaos going on, and I want to...
I'm tired is probably the best way. Milo has not been sleeping the greatest this week. And then I've been on the road, so up decently early, hitting the road, lots of windshield time, which in itself is just draining. So it's been back and forth to the other side of the state, just to go for site visits. That's been the extent of it. Lots of good stuff happening, just a little draining.
Yeah. No specifics, just tired. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of it. It's like there's a lot of stuff happening at Develop too. Like there's the team's got good questions. So when I am in the office, I mean, it's what happens is when I go on the road for a couple days, all the questions that they had in those days that I was gone get compressed into what's left of the week. So then I just always need to plan on not trying to get as much done as I normally would if I'm here for the full week or depending upon what it is.
Right.
So I need to have more office hours, if you will, if you want to consider me like your professor, I have to have my office hours.
Yeah.
So that's definitely what I'm seeing. So lots of questions and then just trying to keep up with the follow-up from the site visits, which was good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Ooh, I almost don't want to go. Well, I will say, I think I did zoom out of the business. I took a real weekend for the first time in a while. But oh my God, this week has just been sheer chaos. The very first thing I had to contend with is, we have a staff member who, went on family leave, but he rescheduled like 7 times, I swear. And did it in like via email the minute I left for a trip. It was like the most disrespectful, frustrating way possible, when he could have just given me a call and I would have understood. So, we had all these Gantt charts that person was critical to that just got thrown out the window. That was very frustrating. And then that was combined with, we had another client on a project. If cash was easier, I probably wouldn't have taken. And we had a major push, and we really had to fight them to get them to remit the payment that they promised they would send right away. And that also all happened at the same time that, our big time and materials consulting client is coming back. So I'm in this weird position where, we were in a cash crunch and didn't have enough work. And now I have way, way, way more work than my company can sustain. And at the same time, like, I don't know, like, I guess for context, like, what percentage of your monthly revenue do you typically have in AR? Just as a percentage, not an absolute value.
I'm such a bad one to ask that question. It swings so much, Michael.
Okay. But like when you're happy with it, what's a percentage?
You're saying percentage of annual revenue, or you're saying
monthly revenue. So if your monthly revenue was, say 150, and you have, I don't know, 75 in AR, it'd be 50%, right?
What are your terms? Because that's another portion of it. Because we have customers that are on net 30, and we have some customers that are on net 60, and I think one on 75. So it also depends on your terms and the way that lays out.
I guess the way that we track it, we have like a scorecard that generates is like things that'll be due that month. So like things that are past due or due, like for September right now, like before, the September 30th, or
I see
on.
What you're saying.
Like I'll tell you right now, typically that number for us is like 30% of monthly revenue. And right now I have 140% monthly revenue in AR, which is like,
and I would have said 100%. Because typically I'm getting paid a month late. So my goal is monthly revenue should be 100%.
Yep. Yeah, well, I think the big difference, though, is that, like, we're much smaller projects, much more milestone based projects. I think the like when we do time and material stuff, it's all retainer based, and I've had this frustration of like I'm short staffed. I have a ton of work to get done, right? And then a bunch of these milestones we've hit, and most of the time people pay right away. And I have like 2 projects right now, both have everything's done. They're just sitting on the shelf with waiting for $30,000-$40,000 payments.
What size are the companies?
It's the big ones that'll do this and just wait. For like for the where we hit the milestone, we've done everything. They'll tell us they're in a hurry or whatever, and then they'll take no action. They won't pay their bills. And we always get paid. It's just I think right now I have the culmination of multiple of these large companies doing the same thing at the same time. Right now I need to be gearing up and hiring and doing all these things, and I have this, like, I shouldn't be in a cash crunch, right? Like with everything here, like there's so much money that's past due or due that I'm annoyed because usually if you have that cash crunch, you don't have enough work. If you have one stressor, right? But I have 2. I have how am I going to do the work that's in front of me, and also I have to play the collections game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the collections game has always been where I've just had the line of credit, and then transparency on that. My strategy has always been I've got the line of credit. I'm just going to go get more work, and they're going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it becomes so far overdue, then I'll put my virtual assistant on it, and she'll go act as collector. But I know I'm saying it on air, but I typically just say they're going to pay, good faith. I'll send them an email, and then I'll forget about it, and I just move on. But I understand the position you're in, because that's where, if I look back several years ago, I know that's where I was when we didn't have a line of credit. Yeah, I think I kind of just did the exact same thing. I just went, it's going to work out. I need to just make more money. Like that's always been my strategy. How do I just keep making more money and focus on it that way? I don't know if that's a good answer for you though.
Yeah, no, and I've always done the same. And I guess that's like my theme of the week is just frustrated. Kind of like I never, there's always hurdles. Like business is just hard. I used to think everybody should start a business, and now I think like very, very few people who don't have like the requirement for their happiness should. But like normally there's these hurdles, we deal with them, whatever, right? It's just been everything, vendor issues. We're getting parts, they're screwed up. Things are like delayed. We have like money. It just feels like this culmination of problems that has me kind of just stressed, right? Where I can't sleep super well. And yeah, I've been doing the thing, and all the work is in front of us, and like the outlook of the company looks great, but my mindset is not following just because.
Do you find yourself switching tasks a lot? Like you're bouncing between the things and not able to focus on anything because there's too much on your plate?
That's well, so like, now that we're short staffed, that's like the big thing. Like I kind of changed philosophy a lot, and we started with machining. As I went and got more quotes and especially explored the Midwest and things a lot more east of California, our pricing, we were able to keep it in the United States, move back most of our part numbers from China, and keep the pricing similar, right? Where we didn't even raise our prices and our COGS didn't get hurt that much. And I want to try to do the same thing with engineering staff. But that's, obviously we're going to explore doing a little bit of that with develop, which we talked about offline, see how that goes. But at least for overflow, but that's still early stages, and I kind of have a now problem, right? That's the whole theme for me right now is like the future looks great. The outlook looks great. But right now sucks.
Yeah. What's funny is there'll be a new suck next month. Like, I think that's been the history of being in business. Like, you have those moments of like, oh man, we just closed this deal or we just shipped this machine. And it's so easy to miss the wins. And I know that's something I've been trying to say to the team more is like, I'm not good at celebrating wins. Like it's just never been my personality. I think you're kind of similar there.
Yeah.
It's all too easy to focus on the shit that's not going right and the stuff that we're frustrated with, the stuff that angers us, wears us down. I think you're on the podcast. If we're going with like the seven dwarves, I know they're not two of them, but I'm fatigued and you're frustrated
Yeah.
here. It's all too easy to focus on those things when I'm sure you have some great wins that you need to be celebrating too, because that's something I've challenged my team. Like, hey, let's focus on the wins. You help me put those on our weekly updates, because otherwise I guarantee I'll never celebrate them.
Yeah.
And you
Oh,
guys
I
deserve
have the
credit.
same problem. I probably have that problem worse than you, to be honest.
Potentially, yeah. I
Yeah.
think I've definitely gotten better at it over the years, but I'm still not good at it.
Yeah.
Well, my dad will like to say that he's like, I never really taught you how to have fun, did I?
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Is like I look at the Gantt charts and I look at what should have been possible if if client XYZ paid on time, if this person didn't suddenly go on leave with no notice, like if XY, like if things just went how I would expect them to go in a normal month. I think that's like where my standard is right now, and because of that, all the good things that have happened, all the additional work we've lined up, the this, that, and the other thing, like I'm not celebrating all the wins that are there, and there's a lot of them, to be fair, right?
Oh yeah. Something else there that our team's been really focused on now that we're getting more visibility on our Gants and the reason stuff gets delayed. We've been really tracking what scheduled work is compared to the unscheduled work. So yeah, you've Ganted out. Let's say we end up with about 34 hours of working hours for people. The other 6 hours ends up in meetings, miscellaneous, just kind of a portion just disappears throughout the week. And we schedule that depending upon the person, it kind of varies a little bit depending upon what they're needed for outside their daily tasks. But call it 34 hours. We think that's always going to get done. And then there's the unplanned stuff that comes in. And so there's a lot of team members just like, all right, I'm going to pick it up in overtime and I'm going to get it done. Sometimes that doesn't work. And then we're like, well, why do we see Gantt slip back? And so that's something I'm really, and I'll talk about that more in our company-wide improvements, but that's something else that might help you too. It might not just be the things that are really visible.
Well, I'm used to being overly optimistic and having things too, compressed on the Gantt charts, and I'm used to it. I expect it, right? I know that I'm too optimistic with these things. What's frustrating is like, having one critical staff member just suddenly go away with no plan. There's just this cascade of dependencies on the Gantt charts, and like you take the Gantt chart and just like throw a piece of dynamite at it. And now I'm scrambling to try to not push back every single deadline, right? Which I think that's probably the biggest thing that has me like flustered, is just figuring out how are we going to do the work, how are we going to keep our clients happy. And there's even things, typically when stuff like this happens, like something's going on in someone's personal life or whatever. When we went back and audited the last 2 months of work, half of it has to be redone anyways, and I don't, like I don't even have the engineering support to actually stay on close to where our original schedule was.
It seems like you're in a similar pinch that I was in April of last year. What we had to do is I knew the Gants were slipping.
Yep.
There was no way with our current staff to push them harder to get on track.
Yep.
The strategy that I took, it played out. The only thing that sucks is you burn cash. What we did is I said, I'm going to let the timeline slip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to communicate to our customers that this is what's occurred. This is how I'm getting in front of it. And this is what we're doing. What we did at that instance is we put out job postings and we overstaffed. So we knew that we were losing time. And then we overstaffed in the future to gain that time.
Yeah.
Part of the reason we had to overstaff drastically was there's also inefficiencies of adding and scaling your team fast. So then I had to account for that, which is where your cash burn comes in, because you don't make those dollars back. That's just literally, you might as well light thousands of dollars on fire and watch it burn, because that's what happens. But what we did is we delivered the projects on time to satisfied customers.
Yep.
And that's what I was really happy about. And that's what I communicated to them. I was fine. Like, all right, develop's going to take a loss through this. but doing right by our customers and not pushing our team was what I felt like was the right decision.
Yeah. And maybe I need to, as things change, maybe I need to be a little more like I had the goal this year of 10% kind of net revenue out, like held in a bank account on overall revenue in, as a not like net income that just shows up in QuickBooks, but like actual cash in the bank as a percentage of top line.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference
Yeah.
between income and then where it went on the balance sheet.
Yeah. And maybe I just have to accept like that's not going to happen. And it is what it is, right? But
I don't know if you necessarily need to accept that. I think what you need to look at is how do I work at getting in front of it, solve that problem first, and then look at how you still make your other goals a reality.
Yeah.
That's the strategy I took. I was able to maintain customers. It wasn't a good time at Develop in terms of like cash flow and profitability, but we've had good years prior, so it worked out.
Yep. Cool. Well, you want to move on to the next topic?
Sure. Sales and marketing. I was on the road again. And it was back and forth to Milwaukee. Multiple site visits in Milwaukee each day that I was there. It has been resurfacing of old deals are popping up. I don't know if it's like the end of the summer. So deals that I haven't seen in years all of a sudden popped back on the radar. And then some weird ones came in through the website in the last couple weeks, which were actually some really good ones. We're going to have bid one now. Hopefully by end of day, I'll be sending that out. And that just came in a couple weeks ago on the website, which I was really thrilled by. And it's a perfect project for Develop on our product development side, which we haven't had a perfect one come in over there for a while. Industrial product, mission critical product, where they have the embedded hardware. They just need a new revision of it with today's like processors, if you will, and hardware. And then they need the firmware, the updated firmware and protocols. And we get to do a really cool UI UX for it, which I'm really hoping we get to do that because it's a web facing customer interface for their product. And it's similar to some things we've done in the past. So there's some good learning with it, but some good leverage of things we've done. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully that one plays out, but they usually don't, the ones you're excited about.
Yeah, they don't.
As I was going through that, the one thing that I reframed is I used to always be very strategy and like partner focused, which I think is good. Then we got a little bit too I always kind of bounce between these technical because it seems like I want to make sure our customers always understand the risks that they're taking on with new product development and automation design. And it's like, I keep bouncing between where's the too technical and where's the too partner focus. So that's kind of something I'm still trying to find some balance on here recently, which is interesting. I just thought that was a good note to share with people. I don't know if you've seen that as well. When you're in the sales kind of flow, it's like, and it's almost like, it also depends on which type of person. If I'm talking to a very technical engineer, he wants to know I understand the risks of his project. Like, yes, your project, the layers of software you're putting in here and getting your certifications on that time, we need to do X, Y, Z. And to hit those dates, we have to have them done by this date because we guarantee something's going to go wrong in these portions. And they're like, yes, that's great. And if you're talking to the executive on it, it's like, just show me how you're going to get it done and let's go.
Yeah, I don't really, I feel like the difference is there a ton, but I don't really feel like I have a challenge with it. Like my philosophy is kind of like be a chameleon, and not in like a disingenuous way, but I think, if anything, I'm more technical and product focused than, an excellent business person. But I know how to communicate in a way that, ROI, high level, here's the milestones here. And it's almost like a totally different call if it's with the manufacturing engineer, who's set out the SOW, the scope of work versus the COO who's going to be, signing off on the PO before the wire transfer hits. Right.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's more or less just, like you said, chameleon's the wrong way, but it's just been kind of that bouncing between to make sure there's complete transparency. I also saw some of it because I watched, I had one of our team members pitch a follow-on project this week. And a portion of the reason I wanted to step back was I saw how I pitch a proposal, or I know how I pitch one, and I just kind of ran through it how I would pitch that one. And then I watched how he did it, and I was like, I think we need to change some of our actual documentation
Mm,
orders and the way that it's done. Because if this is the way that somebody's not used to pitching it kind of presents it, that's probably how they're reading it on the other side.
yeah,
And there were some points of confusion that
mhm,
occurred, which was part of the reason that that's popping.
yeah, that
So
makes sense.
it's little details, but I'm a bit OCD, as I think everybody's a little aware. So
Yeah.
you've seen that in our machines.
Oh yeah, way too clean.
I know. Well, okay, I want to discuss that later on. I'll let you go on the. I have actually one last thing
Uh-huh.
for sales. We're updating some of our quoting tools for sales and looking for some new suppliers. So if anybody's listening, is a rep for pallet conveyors and pallet magazine / dispensers. We're also looking for some more vibratory bowl feeders, like custom builders of them, and then actual wash down cabinets. So we have a few suppliers around that, but we're getting more and more requests for stainless and food grade robotics.
That's more CI than sales, right? I think we're talking about your sales, not your vendor sales.
Well, it's
Yeah.
we're updating ads for our sales CI, if you will.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
I
so
see. Yeah.
we build out libraries of suppliers that
Yeah.
we're set up. So when we go to
Mhm.
purchase them, engineering can move quickly.
Yep.
And then we've also got quotes from them, so we understand how they compare in the market, and
Right.
then what their value prop difference is. Because sometimes
Gotcha. I see the tie-in. So it's almost like you have internal catalogs of RFQ parts. Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. Because really, when we're giving out proposals or bidding automation projects, we start with our layer. Uh, One is me meeting with them, getting the details about it, giving a wag's the wrong word, but like, all right, you're talking about a 700,000 to a $1.2 million project. Don't know until we
Yep.
get into the details, but somewhere in there. Do you want to move forward? They say yes. Then we go in and we take our past catalog or the catalog that I'm talking about, if anybody's listening, and we bid finer with that. And we do a budgetary and we say, all right, and we hand sketch, we lay out what the proposal will look like and go from there. And if they're still good, then we lay out our CAD and we actually get them a final number that we'll build their machine for. So it's kind of a 3-step process. That's the way we go about it. Not sure if that's right for everybody that builds
Mhm.
machines, but I personally like it that way because I think it helps mitigate some of our risks too throughout the bidding
Yep.
process.
Yep. Makes a ton of sense.
So
Cool.
that's my sales stuff. I didn't go much into marketing because I don't have
Mhm.
anything crazy happening.
I guess most of my sales stuff is kind of it's almost CI light. We've had so much workload that there has been me popping into the business more. Not necessarily that I haven't been working on the business. It's more that it's just been additional hours to the point that it's been pretty unsustainable. But that is what it is. There's a lot of sales continuous improvements. The first thing that I noticed is, I had Priscilla kind of revamp our HubSpot pipelines to like make them clean. So we're, separating out a hardware customer from someone who wants an intro load from someone who wants a 2-op semi turnkey, right? That worked really well. There's issue though. I've whined about it before with HubSpot quotes where it's like trying just to get the line items. Getting through a manual HubSpot quote can be a 15-minute ordeal. And with the amount of time it takes to add a contact, search the information manually with how bad the UI is, and then there's no there's quote templates for like the description and the title and so on. And like we have an intro load one that has like all the intro load features in the description, but there's no template for like I want these 15 line items on a quote, right? And we bought this tool. It's $100 a month. It's ridiculous. That does that. That just lets you copy those line items.
What's the tool?
Well, I'm about to not recommend it, but it's called Line Pilot. It does the thing. It's just ridiculously overpriced. And
$100 a month
for storing 5 lines, like it's storing 5 like SKU numbers, right? I mean,
does it save you time?
it does.
Is the value there?
It was, but we replaced it. So this was actually the second one that we implemented, and it saved a huge amount of time, to be fair.
Okay.
However, I texted you and I told you about Comet.
Yes.
And my dad actually introduced me to it, and because he's always looking at all the weird AI crap, and basically now, Comet is like, it's like a low level employee that is like, it's very slow. I'll say that, but it will go online. It'll interact with your email. It'll create a HubSpot quote. It'll create a contact. It just takes over your browser like magic, and
Hmm.
it has saved me so much time. So now it used to be that I would go and line pilot, do this all manually. Now I just, using Whisper, I mean, with my microphone here, I talk in to the assistant in Comet, which is just, it looks just like Chrome, except it has a little assistant button, right? And it's Perplexity's product. And I tell it, hey, I want to generate a quote. I want to go to this person, this company, add them as a contact, put it in the intraload pipeline, and send them the standard intraload quote with the standard line items, right? It's already been trained on the line items. I just gave it to it once, and it goes and it just does it. And now it takes like 10 minutes, but it just goes running in a browser off on one of my like screens on the side. I come back, the whole thing's generated, and it's doing things. Yeah.
How long would it take you if you did that? So it takes it 10 minutes. How long would it take you?
4, 3.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, I spend 15 seconds talking to my microphone. And I don't think about it. And
yeah, that seems like a proportional. Like that's not a big difference. Next year it'll be at 2 minutes. So yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was like it takes you 1 minute and it does it in 10, or if it takes you 20 minutes and it does it in 10. I was just trying to get some context.
Well, and it did something yesterday that kind of blew me away. So I had this customer, I only had their phone number, right? I Googled and couldn't find their email. And I just told the AI agent, make a new contact for the person. Here's their name, here's their cell phone number. Here's the company they work for. Find their email address and put it in there. And I don't know where it found it, but it found the email address and it was correct to that person. And then right after that, I had to generate the quote. Just really impressive stuff like that. That I don't know that I could have found that information had I spent 10 minutes on it, right?
What else are you using it for other than creating your HubSpot quotes?
That's the biggest thing, because that's where I spent. I mean, the biggest thing is we always want to turn around the quotes in like 24 hours or less, right? Because we just see a much better close rate when we do that.
Yes.
And with this influx of, top, mid-funnel, doing the mid-funnel discovery calls, doing too many of them or too many phone calls, I was slipping through the cracks there. And
I run it. I get what you're saying. It's all too easy.
Yeah. So then I'd forget a quote. This would happen. That would happen. It's removed that friction to where I don't have to think, right? I just have to spot check, and just taking the cognitive load off of myself of going and digging for the thing, correcting little stuff, just letting it do most of it has been a huge deal, right?
I like it. Yeah. I haven't tried it. I know you sent it to me.
Yeah.
I looked at it. I was just trying to figure out where I could apply it. I think it's one of those where I just need to try it on a weekend and play with it.
Well, and it can do things like it integrates with Gmail, and I'll tell it. We swapped to Fireflies. That's another thing at your recommendation. So I actually still have.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a better tool. The best I've seen thus far.
It's no doubt better. There's no question. Now Fixer, I'm still dependent on their stupid email labeling, and that's $50 a month. But at least with Comet, I can now cancel that other service that was $100 a month, and Comet's only $30, right? So that's cool.
I did like Fixer's labeling.
So I'm still using that. I know you've gone on to Superhuman, which is like $50 a month anyways, right?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. And they do the labeling, they do AI tools, and then they're integrated into HubSpot. So I'm still like, I don't know if I'm huge to recommend it for people.
Yeah.
Because like complete transparency, I still use Outlook 20% of the time because there's certain things it's better for. But there's certain times that I really like Superhuman. So I'm not like raving to recommend people to jump over to it, but it works for a lot of things I need it for.
That's one thing I would criticize a little bit or push back. So like for me, when do you use Chrome or Safari or something else for your browser?
I use Edge.
Okay. I'll use Edge.
Yeah, it's bad. So I used to be Chrome. I
Gotta
liked
fix
it. And
that.
then we moved to all we moved,
Yeah.
the whole company went to Microsoft. And so it's one of those things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I'll never forget one of the lines my
Mhm.
roommate in college said when he saw that that's what I was using.
Yeah.
Probably not appropriate to share on here. It's pretty far out there, but basically an analogy comparing how you're going to get a bunch of viruses if you want to
Yeah.
extrapolate.
Yeah. So when I started using Comment, I'm like, oh shoot, this is really, really good. And it's already saved me a lot of time, right? And the nice thing about those AI tools when they just do the thing you want is like you don't have to go through delegating and teaching somebody. You just, let it go for 5 minutes and then type, oh no, I want you to adjust this or whatever, right? So you can
Yeah,
train
you're
them really
teaching
fast.
it.
Yeah, but it's faster
Oh
because
yeah.
because it has the record of how you've done it and it can view all of that instantly, right?
It's just like ChatGPT. Yeah,
Yeah.
it knows what you've done in the past and it leverages that. Yeah, it's very true.
So like with Comet, the reason I said I'm pushing back a little bit, I uninstalled Chrome. I brought over all my tabs. I brought in all the same plugins.
And you're browsing through Comet?
Yeah, I'm on Comet right now. So like it literally has like you import it instantly imports all your settings from Chrome or Edge or wherever.
I thought it was I thought you downloaded Comet into Chrome.
No, so it's literally like its own software like Chrome, but it has this AI assistant button, and then it can take over your computer and start clicking on stuff, typing on things, doing what you tell it to do.
And how much does that cost, you said?
It's like $20 or $30 a month.
It doesn't say any costs on here. You can go download it, but it's a Google product, isn't it?
No, I don't know. Perplexity. I don't know. I don't know who makes Perplexity. I think it's its own company, no? Yeah, it's a Google competitor. It's like a search engine that has an LLM on top of it.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm over the moon with it. It's early days. Like Whisper hit like that, but it feels like it's going to be as big as Whisper for me.
Yeah, I'm glad I listened to you on that one. I just got to make sure I'm in the right area when I click.
Yeah. I think I'm 145,000 words in now, and it's been 2 months.
I can look it up. You said you're at 140 and how many weeks?
8.
I'm at 6 weeks and 60,000. So.
Yeah. We're both power emailers, it turned out.
Yeah. It's a lot of talking in emails.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But I mean, as far as like sales and marketing goes, the other thing I like revamped are PowerPoints because I didn't have like a good PowerPoint template. And really I want to get it into a clean Q4 version because our old PowerPoints have so many older revs of products that, I need to have the current rev of a product. I can't have 2 revs back in a PowerPoint.
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, that's my
PowerPoints are a blast, right?
Ugh. And I've like tried to get ChatGPT to make PowerPoints and it kind of does it. But it like the formatting's always messed up and it seems like more work than it's really worth. I know there's another PowerPoint AI tool, but I haven't tried it yet.
I don't do anything in PowerPoint, so I have no reference on that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think of anything else. Trade shows. You brought up shipping and logistics and forklifting.
Oh yeah.
So we just paid. This is the first time we've ever paid to ship to a show and have it forked to our show or booth and out.
Mm-hmm.
I just paid the bill for 2 shows. Or saw the Excel spreadsheet for paying the bill, and like the team was like, "Is this okay?" And I'm like, "No, it's not, but I don't have a better option at this point." So, how much did you say it was just to move one machine? It was $12,000.
It was 13.2, and that was without power. And we would still have to freight it there, get it into the yard, right? And then literally that's taking it from the back of the building to the booth.
So ours ended up being it's $12,000 for 2 shows for trucking there and forking in and out. So it's like $2,500 to $3,000 depending upon the show for forking in and out of the booth, and then the same for shipping to and from.
Yeah, that's about what IMTS was. But you're closer, so I'm
we're going to Minneapolis.
Yeah,
and then we're we're not bringing the crate back. We're shipping it to the next show.
Right. Huh.
And so I'm like, holy crap, 12 grand. Like
Yeah.
I didn't plan for that.
What was the vendor?
Well,
Was it the
the
show vendor?
the show vendor is the only option for moving it in-house in
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Our shipping bill was like,
But was the shipping vendor the same as the show vendor, the show floor?
I forget the vendor we got. We looked at multiple quotes. We didn't go with the cheapest one. Complete transparency there.
Yeah.
There were some things that just made us uncomfortable with the lowest bid. And I'm very gun shy on low bids anymore, having
Yep.
been in the automation space. Whenever I hear that we lost a project because we were 40% high,
Mhm.
I go, there's no way you're getting what we bid.
Right.
So now
Well,
every
I mean,
time
some of those prices are so insane, though. Definitely, if you shoot me an email or something, and as a reminder, and or even put the bids in there, because I think it's very possible that the low bid we've used and we're happy with.
Okay.
If it's the company I think it was.
I could message Tyler here, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway,
It's-
trade
it's-
shows.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a difference in price, but yeah, it wasn't the 40%, like I said, for
Yep.
other whatever. That's it for trade shows, getting stuff ready, ordering materials, getting ready to go to it.
Yep.
Building a big crate.
You want to go closer to your mic again? You got quiet.
Oh, sorry.
You lean back.
Yep. Building a big crate.
Oh yeah, that reminded me for trade shows. We got West Tech coming up, and
Okay.
that was one of the big projects that we had assigned that with the Gantt charts that got thrown into oblivion. So the reason that we got a quote for a machine, basically we had planned out building this little mini CNC machine to simulate like a Haas UMC with the interload on it.
Yeah.
So it was very clear what it was. It had like loading and unloading. Well, that Gantt chart blew up because where's the time to do that now, right? So, and West Tech's in a month. So it was already really tight, and everything was designed to be like rolled in from the front by us. So we're like, hey, we could just move the whole machine that has an interload on it, right? We have that; it's not too far. But then I got a almost $13,000 quote before electrical, before moving it from our building to there.
I wonder if
Yeah.
that $13,000 is actually cheaper than the cost of engineering.
Well, it would be if it weren't for the getting the forklift here, getting it onto a truck, getting it shipped over there. Then it's the 13 grand to move it in. Then it's gonna and move it back out. But then I have to freight it back over here, and then I have to get it back onto my
Oh.
floor, rewired in and re-leveled. And that's before the show is electrical, right? So, and before I account for having to get a second 10x10 booth, which is another $7,000.
Yeah,
So it's like a
you're-
$40,000 endeavor. Yeah.
Okay.
So
never
that's a
mind.
no.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just have to say no in business.
Mhm. Yeah.
That makes sense. Seems like a logical decision there.
So I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring an intraload unit, whether it's just kind of hand moved on linear rails or pneumatic or just literally on a table. I don't know, right? Or just like a mount where the shelving unit's there. But I don't know. It's kind of disappointing, right? Having to look at the Gantt charts and say I don't know if that's possible now.
I think you're making a solid business move. Can you get away with it if you just buy a really nice TV?
We've done that before. Doesn't really work, to be honest with you.
Doesn't for your stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 3 really nice TVs. You want to move on to the next section here?
Yeah. Engineering and R&D. I think we've kind of rolled into that already. So I'll let you keep going.
You're just letting. Don't make it a Michael show. Why don't you go?
The Michael show.
I've been
don't have
talking way too much already.
I don't have a whole lot about engineering and R&D. It's we're bringing on the 1701 line. Everything is here. It's assembled. It's cabled. It's pneumatic routed. I think it was like 4,000 assembled components in less than a month. Very proud of what the team's built. It is by far the cleanest, most attractive build to date that Develop's ever done. Like we've even got stickers on it. Let's say pinch point. It's kind of cool on the inside of the machine.
Yeah. That's sweet.
It looks like a mass produced machine. It's the team has gotten so good at their processes. Now they're bringing everything online, so all the IO's working. I believe they have gone through all the IO this week. So that was this week's task list. and they only found one issue bringing stuff online that requires a small mechanical change, apparently half day. They're
Cool.
waiting to finalize the testing they wanted to do, which should be done today, from my understanding, before they do that mechanical change, make sure that they can't group anything else with it. So I'm really excited about that. That's one big thing for our team. And then 1010's the target fat date on that. So we're 4 weeks away. So we got to be running right in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Which
Cool.
is fun. Yeah.
I guess for me with engineering R&D, I don't know, like I love making stuff, and just there's that general feeling of disappointment, I think. Um, and I know you've heard me go on and on about the external palette loading system for way too long now. And it went from this really complicated thing that I killed to then this simpler design that is mocked up and ready to build, but I paused and I looked at our Gantt charts and I looked at our engineering talent and I kind of said, something I said before of like, maybe it should just be 10 pallets. Like maybe I should just remove an axis and maybe I should start there and then get established in that market and then add in that extra axis. But I'm kind of annoyed with myself for like the extra load project in particular with just the general chaos, over the last 6 months between, I mean, really it's been associated with, cash flow issues and the things kind of suddenly changing in less than predictable ways in various capacities. um, that that project has, as the thing that's kind of blue sky R&D, been moved around too much, and I really blame myself for letting the scope creep, even in my simplified version. Right.
Okay.
That's kind of a self-criticism.
That's good. Good to do those sometimes.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that I'm learning is to say no. I had a client who wanted to like flip something around and in a way that I don't really think is beneficial at all, but this very niche use case. And most of our stuff is at the point where like there's various points of like where a product is in its life cycle. There's the very early stage where it's good enough and people will buy it and people will be happy with it. That's kind of, and usually at that point I'll sell the product and I'm kind of embarrassed by it, right? That's like an early generation. There's not any of those left. And then there's the point that I'm like, it's okay. And then there's the point where I'm actually proud of it. And almost all of our products have been pushed to where I'm proud of them, including this one. And I got this feedback, and I think a year or two ago, I would have been I jumped into SolidWorks and made a new rev and sent it out for manufacturer, sent it to our shop floor. And, and I put in our feature requests, and then I immediately dragged it to declined. And I was proud of myself for saying like, no, this is a good product. This is a niche application, and this is not necessary. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. You at least logged the decline. Sometimes that feels good. It's like writing that angry email and then deleting it as soon as you're done, because that's what you needed to do, was just vent.
Yeah. And like, we had a recommended fix that there was a little bit of scope change when this thing got actually installed, and that always happens. And I'm just kind of proud of myself seeing like that I'm growing in terms of not letting scope creep get out of hand. And I am definitely, from an engineering point of view, I've gotten a lot more out of working in the business, and a lot more into scope of work management, managing the work getting done, which I think is why the pain is particularly bad, losing a core engineer, right? But
yeah, it's an interesting feeling too, being in that position where you're like, I'm not an engineer anymore.
Mhm.
Like I technically haven't engineered in years, is really the truth of it. I draft documents. I might sit in an engineering review. I didn't really engineer anything. I was a critic down the wall. Like,
Right.
I can't take credit for anything my team did in that instance. All I did was maybe layered in a little bit of my experience to get them to think about, hey, I had this pain once. You might want to hear this story.
Yeah.
And now look at that assembly you have there and let me know if that correlates. Like that's about it. But yeah, it is an interesting feeling stepping back into that. And then once you lose that engineer, you're like, do I step back in? Do I contract this out? what do I do?
Mhm. Yeah.
Is really what you're going through, if I'm hearing correctly.
Well, and right now the answer is okay. We're going to put in an additional engineering position because like you need that redundancy, and also try to put in, knowing how much the workflow is, or the workload has surged, having the vendor overflow. Because like, if you have a T&M client, it's such high risk if they suddenly become 30% of your revenue, if they drop away tomorrow and you're fully staffed up for that. So like I need to
Yes.
accept the higher cost and outsource a lot of the day-to-day work, I think.
Do you do minimum on your retainers?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
X
yeah.
number of months? No, I'm saying X number of months.
Generally, yeah.
How many do you do?
6 month. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. But it depends on the client, what the history is, and I would be hard pressed to take on a new T&M client unless it was a very, very good fit. And I would probably kind of gingerly enter into the relationship, right? To make sure it aligned. So typically it's like 25 grand a month minimum. And I would want to date before we got married there, because once we start one of those projects, like,
Oh, it's years.
not only is it years, but the working relationship is critical, and
There's
it's very,
typically
very important to me that our customers succeed, right? That
Oh.
we're especially in that bucket.
I think we're well aligned there. I personally like seeing about 20% or a little bit more in our T&M bucket.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the perfect hedge to how large our other projects are, to just kind of soften some of those valleys out. I really like about 20%.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But for what's ideal, I mean, we're going to be with one client above that threshold, which is why I need that safety net of being able to kind of offload the vendors if the work disappears, right?
Yeah.
And I think with all these things, you can go and force a contract, but at the end of the day, if someone doesn't, pay a bill on time, like, you're not going to instantly sue them, right? Like, and like, we just had a fight with a major corporation to get paid. And it's like, okay, this multi-billion corporation, like, if they want to stomp all over the contract, they can, and there's not much I'm going to be able to do about it, right? At least not on a short time scale. So
yeah, I'm
cool.
trying to think of engineering.
Next section.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of rolls into company-wide updates and improvements, but it's engineering. I'm gonna bring up. So we've been using one plan for our Gantt management. It's been working okay. I'll say we deployed it almost exactly a year ago. We've started, now that our team's gotten more efficient, we're pulling stuff forward. We're running more projects in parallel, more Gants in parallel. We're seeing different pains with it. And so we're looking at other, there's other tools within it that we can enhance what we're doing there. Do we invest in that? Do we switch softwares? Do we brew something internally? I don't think that's necessarily it, but what we, the challenge is finding what we want. But I mean, I have to at least let the team go out there and evaluate, if we did it ourselves, what are the features we need? What are the features we want? And then see if we can find it. So we're going back and forth on that. One of the pains we've had is we like our time tracking linked right in with our Gantt, so we can correlate tasks. That just creates a pain point. And I saw it this week because the team member that typically does it was on vacation, and he drafted the document SOP, how we do everything, worked well. But it was just clunky. We have to export that, take it into payroll. And there's just so many opportunities for human error to occur. And it's just like, should we just move everything to ADP for our time tracking and call it done, and just lose that little bit of correlation is something we've been bouncing back and forth with. And I'm leaning towards just doing that and then getting the best Gantt software we can. I don't know what you use what do you guys do for payroll? Is it all in QuickBooks still? Or?
Payroll? We use Gusto. Yeah.
Is what?
Gusto. It's just payroll management.
Okay.
It's great. I don't think I would ever, like, our CPA in my first company recommended it, and I've used it ever since.
Okay.
Great automatic handling, handles benefits. It's pretty cheap. Nothing but great things to say about Gusto.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go away from ADP because I'm happy with it. It's just more or less I need to have do you do time tracking right in Gusto then?
No. So we have everything in Notion, and that's actually one pain point with specific time tracking. We only do, like, with Real Discipline for T&M. The rest are kind of estimates that follow along with a particular product or
Oh, I
project to
see.
track margins. Now, our Gantt charts are in Notion. They work reasonably well, but not amazingly well.
Yeah. I don't think Notion's I've looked at it. I don't know if that's the right solution for us.
Yeah, well, I'm actually considering moving away from Notion for Gantt charts specifically.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Do you like one plan?
I like Project Gantz. I really wish Microsoft wouldn't have killed. I wish they would have made the desktop project for the web because that's what I want. Like,
Yeah.
I want that product, but it's not a thing anymore. So I got to give up on that.
Yeah.
One plan has been pretty good. It's one of those where we managed our Ganson project and then we linked it into one plan. And the conversation we had this week is it's like, if we're going to go one plan, it seems like we have to whole ass it, if you will, not be part in project, part in one plan to get the data and dashboards we want and visibility. And so that's what the team's looking at is, all right, do we go all in on this or what does it look like?
Yeah. Are you guys on the $10 a month plan or the 30 per user for one plan?
I honestly,
no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to try something better with the Gants, and especially for the T&M, having built-in time tracking would be really nice.
I we said we're looking for our next solution. That's what one plan.
Yep.
We said that as a team, we're looking at, because we know we're going to learn something. We're revising it at this year. We said that was going to be the thing. And I'm just like, I am frustrated with it at this point, which means that we've lived with it for too long. We actually probably shouldn't have gone a year. We should have done a change sooner. But is it because we should have deployed more of the features or because we should have moved? So
that's always the hard part.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not sure if one plan is the right or wrong solution and if I'm happy with it or not, because I was happy with it. I'm not happy with it now, but I might be happy with it again once we deploy the right things.
Yeah, I'd almost encourage you to spend like an hour or two personally reviewing it, rather than just, I don't know how much time you're spending in the Gantt chart yourself. Is it a significant
reviewing Gants?
Well, like actually, like in the overall system that of the Gantt chart itself, reviewing the Gants. Like, are you the one clicking on things, like dragging
I review them. I don't build them, but yeah, I spend a decent amount of time in there reviewing them.
I would encourage you just, spend a couple hours, figure out the software, try to build one or two, because when I've done that, it really has opened my eyes to, is it the vendor or is it, the employee? Because sometimes an employee just isn't good at something or they're having a hard time or whatever. And there's been good tools that, the wrong person was on them. And where I found out later, I dropped the right tool because, there was a personnel or a skill alignment issue, not a tool issue.
Yeah.
But chances are, hearing what I'm hearing, after you do that, you'll drop one plan. Because usually when you're saying that, like it's too hard or we just not implementing the features, it's too complicated, it's too difficult for your needs, and usually it's the tool.
I think it's the latter. It's too complicated because we got the team member training. He set it up the first time, and I thought it took too long to set it up the first time, which had me concerned, considering we only did a certain number of the features.
Yep.
Yeah, it actually might make sense rather than me just have another team member play with it more so they can actually give it the proper focus rather than me getting interrupted 9 times and being like, I don't know what I learned.
Yeah.
I learned I should have been on sales.
Every time that there's been some like SaaS product that had considerable training that wasn't like in a technical engineering or machining product, right? I'm not talking about like CAM software or, but like anything like we tried a couple ERP systems and I won't name names, but maybe the one exception was paperless parts when we were a job shop a long time ago. But anytime we had that like $3,000 to $10,000 onboarding process and it took 4 weeks or to 12 weeks to implement, we eventually dropped every single one of those tools. Do you have any like complicated, ERP or other systems that took that long time to implement that you're happy with?
One plan's the only one we ever did it with.
Yep.
We've otherwise tried to stay pretty lean on software and deployments. Usually, I mean, we're not that big of a company. I think it's all too easy to try and think you're going to solve a lot more problems than you really have with some of these
Mhm.
softwares.
Yeah, and it's like, part of our challenge with Notion, I think, is it's, we're trying to use it for everything. And the challenge with that is it's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, right? You can try to build it and be great, but like you're not going to put your invoicing or your CRM in there, right? Like, um, I guess the question I'm asking now that you bring this up is like, should our Gants be in there at all?
Yeah, you're hitting something else that's frustrating to me is you create a customer in HubSpot, something you talked about
Mhm.
earlier on in the podcast. So I create a customer in HubSpot. We then land that customer.
Yep.
They then need to be created for a project. Like
Yeah. Yep.
all the folder structures, all the one plan stuff, all that stuff needs to get created. Oh, we also have to create them in there for time tracking. We then also have to put them into QuickBooks for pay, how do
Yep.
we track the project? And it's like, it is so frustrating. Like that's where I was like, all right, do we go to Microsoft for all this? Do we do one? And it's like, do you use
Yeah.
Zapier to connect these, but then those just break? Like it is so frustrating to have 3 disjointed softwares that
Mhm.
have to have the exact same information in them and they can't talk to each other.
I would really try, forget Zapier, but like, first off, I think a lot of that problem is going to go away with AI.
Oh, I
And
agree. Yeah.
And I think even with Comet, like I told it, hey, look at this email, add them as a customer, find their email address, find their phone number, and populate it, right? And it just did. So it took the information from Gmail and it just put it into HubSpot, and it just ran, right? But you can give it bigger tasks than that. Um, I would really encourage you to look to Comet and N8N as ways to automate that workflow, because that's what I'm trying to do. Also knowing very well that we're also fragmenting into multiple tools and have that exact same pain.
Yeah. But I think a lot of what we're seeing with AI is the key right now is to not get emotionally invested or too stuck on any one of them.
Sure.
And as soon
Yep.
as there's a better one, like Fixer to Superhuman for me and Fixer to Comet or Whisper for
Mhm.
you
Yep.
or Fireflies, it's like as soon as a better one's there, there's no loyalty in these
Sure.
AIs. It's like just get the next best one.
I agree and disagree. I agree absolutely. Just swap to the next best thing, and that the pace is so fast. And because of that, I will refuse to pay annually for any of the AI services.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
we pay monthly
yeah.
as well, so you can terminate them.
But what I will say is, I think both of us have been using AI at a very low level compared to the people who have been using N8N and building dedicated agents to do things.
Oh,
And and the thing too,
well,
those like flowcharts that build agents, you can pop out Perplexity and put in ChatGPT. You can pop that out, and you can choose your LLM, and so you are changing the tool immediately, but the workflow still works.
yeah. No, I'm really excited for the sales AI tool that we drafted what I want for features in it.
Yep.
And towards the end of this month, early next month, I'm getting about 80 to 120 hours, I'll say,
Yep.
to have one and a little bit of another engineer so they can bounce ideas off, build out some of these tools. Because I saw what we were able to do on the nights of a couple trade show.
Mm-hmm.
What we built in like, let's say 8 hours and leveraged the show was awesome. So if I give them 10 times that, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Any other? What are we on CIs?
I think we kind of rolled into CIs. You got us there nicely. Good transition, Michael. A CI that we're working on is we do the automation assessments. I spend a lot of time doing them, going on site. We've been building out an SOP and kind of a playbook for that on how to do them. And then now we've got one I'm going down on Saturday of all days. I'm doing an automation assessment on a Saturday. It was interesting. That's when a bunch of people were converging and flying in and the plant never shuts down. So works for me. But driving down to do it, and what we're doing is we're building out a bunch of templates and tools that I'll be testing there for the first time. And the goal is to do that. We're going to layer it with Plod so my team can listen to the entire thing and use AI to look at it and then revise those tools. Because the goal is, how do we make it so I don't have to go on all these automation assessments in the next 12 months?
Yep.
Or potentially the other way we're looking at it is, could I make a bunch of YouTube videos and give all these tools away?
Yep.
That that I'm debating. I'm liking the idea more and more the more I think about it. Just give them all away and let our customers go do their own automation assessments, and hopefully they see the value
Yeah.
in what we were able to do for them for free.
One recommendation our SEO guy gave me, because we're working on an ROI calculator to go on the website. I think you guys already have one, right?
We have, yeah, we've had one for.
Is to put like a comically small paywall behind some of these things, or at least ask for something in exchange. Whether it's we need all your information right in detail, that like your address, like it should have some friction intentionally, or to even ask for like $1 or like 20 or whatever, right? To establish the kind of cognitive dissonance of like you're almost already a vendor because you're disclosing this information or sending money.
That's an interesting. I never looked at it from that way. We do
I
require.
was skeptical, but it seems interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard. That would be interesting. Yeah, maybe I charge $25 for this template, this tool.
Yep.
And then they just keep paying as they go. That's a really, because we're laying it out. It ended up being like 21-page templates is what we have to build out. And if I charge $10 for each one of those, if somebody goes through our entire coaching platform, that's $200.
Yep.
That'd be I'm gonna have to seriously think about that. That's a clever idea.
Well, and I hate taking existing things and putting them behind a paywall, but we have our one-off program generator, right? And occasionally somebody has shunt grippers or whatever, and they just use it, and it's fine. But now that I think about it, it's like, okay, compared to an even basic gripping system, with us it's $5,000. If shunk, it's going to be 12 to do like one op. Putting that behind a $25 paywall, I think is totally reasonable and might establish that relationship. And if someone buys a gripper, I can just essentially give it to them for free, right?
Yeah. No, that's because we've done like the paid wall being your email address.
Right.
But we only do that in our ebooks. We give away all our knowledge bases. We give away all our ROI calculator. I don't have an answer whether I'm going to do that or not, but I'm definitely going to think about that one seriously.
I just put in a feature request to consider charging money for $25 for our program generator, and then to give it away if someone buys systems from us.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool.
I don't know. Only other CI is our wave soldering machine. Gonna hopefully really speed up the process of soldering those little boards.
It's on the way.
It's supposed to be here today, but maybe
nice.
I'll walk out on the floor and it'll be there.
It might be there.
Yeah.
Hopefully it is.
Oh, I guess actually too. We updated our gripper core design. For our high force gripper, we had one variant before for the high force scrim gripper 4, one for the intra load, one for the intra grip. It's one product, and now we have like little seals. So that's the convergence of multiple SKUs into one.
Perfect.
Well, not SKUs, but part numbers in multiple SKUs.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You've been trying to reduce part count, increase complexity a little bit, which is making it easier to assemble and source.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. That's all I got for CIs.
All right. Weekly tasks and personal segment.
Yeah. I think my accountability item was to take a weekend, and to post a job posting, and those are both checks. So.
Yeah, Michael needs to zoom out by solving the short-term staff problem. Matt needs to build SOP for holy crap, we even talked about that in the podcast and I forgot about it. So yes, I reviewed our entire automation assessment ebook. I guess a little teaser on that since I started that. We will be rebuilding our automation assessment ebook over the next couple months, and doing a revised version with some stories in it and analogies and a little bit more of a personal tone from me rather than so textbook. Yeah. I read the old one over the weekend and I was like, man, I was a robot when I wrote this. And I didn't even have AI when we made this. Like, what was wrong with me? So I was like, we got to layer some human into this now, especially with AI around. So that was one thing. And then another portion is building out the tools and starting drafting that. So perfect.
Awesome. Cool.
My task for next week. Oh my gosh. My next week is on the road again. Yeah. I'm on the road Saturday, on the road Wednesday and Tuesday. Yeah. My team's going to need support and help, and I have to keep on top of quoting. That is going to be my big things. And if I'm on the road Saturday, it's trying to still get home at a reasonable time because I'm sure house things will get behind because usually weekends I catch up.
Yep.
With the little one now, it makes you ever try and do everything one-handed? Like I have such an appreciation to people with one arm, and it's like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, it is so challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, your arms get a little bigger, so there's a plus there.
Yeah. So your accountability, sorry, what was your accountability item again? I zoned out for a sec.
I think mine's just make sure I'm there for the team and the family because I'm going to be on the road so much that I need to try and like I've been trying to block off more of my time for specific tasks that I know the team needs and that we're trying to do. So it's really just blocking time for team and family.
Yep. Cool. Mine's really similar. So I've got on Saturday I fly out for EO. We have like a forum retreat where it's like strictly just the people in the forum who own businesses for 3 days or whatever. The weird twist, because we canceled our vacation, I'm bringing Priscilla on the flight, who's then going to her own hotel, and then we're like meeting up and staying in Mexico for a couple days.
Oh, cool.
Which one of our guys in our forum was upset that she was like present on the flight. I'm like, not like she's coming to the retreat, but yeah, anyway, how business owners are thinking clash heads.
Oh yeah.
But it's just zone the hell out and try to take a chill pill. Like my engine has been revving well in the red line for way too long, and I think I've been like too eager to solve customer problems even when they've been unreasonable lately. I think I've been especially bad about that. We have 2 semi-turnkeys going on where nothing against the customers, but they have been much slower than normal to do the implementation and just follow the instructions. And
That's fun.
We let them know like that both one of our apps engineers who does the turnkey implementations and me are both out at the same time. And I'm just working on not feeling bad about that because it's like it's going to be another week, and they're just going to have to deal, right?
Yeah, that's how it sometimes is.
Yep.
I mean, as long as you communicated it to them early enough, I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, and I mean it's usually these installs take 2 days, and it's been 2 weeks, and we've been communicating on the dot through our turnkey Slack channel. So I just need to go easy on myself and actually not work that much, right?
It's hard.
Yeah. And I guess like tomorrow, I'm selling my airplane. It's in escrow. We were supposed to have the test flight to finalize it on Wednesday. Of course, the maintenance people didn't do something they were supposed to. So now it's tomorrow. Yeah. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Matt and I's conversation this week on the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. If you like the podcast, please share it with a friend or give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'll be back next week to continue sharing our respective journeys in life, business, and industrial automation. Thanks so much.